Tomorrow night, 8/7 Central, only on the Weather Channel.
Hurricane Ian has made landfall in South Carolina. So this is the fourth landfall that this hurricane has made. Cuba, 2 in southwestern Florida, and now near Georgetown, South Carolina. So we have the particulars on a 2:15 p.m. statement, still an 85-mile-an-hour hurricane. That's the broad view, but looking closely at these landfall parameters, again, it's very near Georgetown, South Carolina, so that's between Charleston and Myrtle Beach as a Category 1 max sustained winds at 85 miles an hour and a pressure of 977 millibars. It is very front-loaded with regard to the rainfall. So the good news here is after the center comes ashore, the rains should taper off at the coastline substantially, but it is very right loaded. Look at all of this wind that's off to the north and east as we've got high pressure off to the north. And so there's a tremendous pressure gradient, and it's going to rain a long time and blow for a long time well inland in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. Taking a closer look at the radar, you can see all these flash flood warnings here in South Carolina and the onshore push north and east of where the center is coming ashore. So again, here's Georgetown. You can see the surface observation kind of bending around this way. So, the radar signature is kind of messy, but the surface observations indicate coming ashore right about in here near Georgetown as this bends around to the west. So maybe coming in the exact center up in there. And if we look at another depiction on the radar, it's not real clear what's going on there in terms of looking at the reflectivities, but the velocities show that the center has crossed the coastline, and now we've got that onshore push and wind continuing off to the north and east of there. And our Alex Wallace is up here in Myrtle Beach. So, Alex, you are just on the right-hand side, the onshore flow side of a landfalling hurricane. Have the winds gotten stronger? And oh, by the way, is the temperature still going up because the right side of Ian is bringing a warm front in too?
That's exactly what we've noticed on Dr. Nab. Those two things. These are easily the strongest winds we've experienced since we've been out here. Sustained and gusts. Really have picked up here in the last half an hour or so, up to an hour or so. So stronger winds, absolutely that's been the case. You also mentioned being loaded in terms of the rain, sort of on the north side of this thing. On the southeast side, we haven't seen, it's been sort of a drier situation. Well, you kind of hit that mark now where we're not finding any rain, which makes it so much easier when you have rain pelting you. It's like needles. So we don't have to deal with that, but very, very strong winds, that is for sure. Those strong winds have absolutely caused issues. You see behind me here, you got the caution tape in front of the boardwalk that leads you down towards the beach. That's because of this boardwalk. You walk up, try to make a right, it's gone. The waters came up so fast, or say so much, that it's actually crept in and knocked over half of the boardwalk there. So you can't even get to the beach without getting into the Atlantic waters themselves, which are churned up. They are angry, and they are pretty nasty at this point. So it has no doubt been a stormy last few hours. The winds have cranked up a bit. You kind of have to brace yourself at times. You look across, and across the way, you can see the palm trees, no doubt. A little bit of the debris from some of the palms have come down just a bit here. So it is rocking a bit more here this afternoon. No question about it. I have to say, the folks here have been dealing with some power outages now. Not just along the coast, but also inland as well. Those power outages are now getting up around 170,000, 180,000 customers without power here across the state of South Carolina. In fact, just outside, fortunately right now, where we are staying here in the hotel, still power, but just outside of this resort area, the power is out to some of these stores and locations surrounding. So we're going to see that mounting more. And I can't imagine not being the case with some of these stronger winds that we're experiencing right now. So it's certainly cranking here for us, Dr. Nab. No doubt as we're on that sort of east side finally now. Right, we've been kind of waiting for that onshore push. Fortunately, Dr. Nab, we didn't see that push take place right when that high tide was in play, right around that 11 o'clock hour, or else we probably would have seen even greater water rise here where we are.
Yeah, and Alex, you're also fortunate that you're not getting the heaviest rain in the coastal areas of South Carolina that Ian has to offer. That's happening down in Charleston. So at least nobody has gotten the double bill of the maximum saltwater flooding and the maximum freshwater flooding. So let me show you where the water problems are occurring along with the wind problems. We've got the flash flood warnings here along the coast, all the way from where Alex is in Myrtle Beach, all the way down past Charleston. And again, this nasty band on the west side of this generally northward moving system has really been bringing the strong winds and the heavy rains. And again, this is where the offshore flow is, but you've still been gusting over 60 miles an hour. Big time rainfall totals over the last 24 hours. And we've got a considerable threat. Flash flood warning in Charleston, South Carolina until 5 p.m. Eastern time. Stay off the roads.